As some of the best teams in the National Football League get ready for the postseason, some of the worst get ready for a coaching search as Black Monday came and not many were spared. A number of coaching vacancies, now a couple GM vacancies as well. So let's break down the smart moves and the not quite as smart moves from Black Monday in the National Football League. So, Black Monday came and went, and did minimal things happening, right? That's not entirely true. You have a number of different coaching changes across the NFL. Let's start with Atlanta as they pull off the daily double with Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot out. Fontenot, the general manager. And this one, this makes sense to me. You have Bijan Robinson, you have Drake London. We can debate about whether Kyle Pitts should be put in there, but you have a couple of high-level players on the defensive side as well, and you couldn't win a division where 8 and 9 got it done. That gets you fired. This is not a talent-rich division. The Falcons have the pieces that they should be better than the Panthers. They definitely, they finished better than the New Orleans Saints, and they should be at least competitive with Tampa Bay. But I think you would be surprised to find out that Atlanta actually did finish tied with the Buccaneers in the NFC South just based on how the season went. So when you have the high-level talent there, from a roster building standpoint, you have to build around it better than Atlanta did. And from a coaching standpoint, you have to get more out of it than you did. And they just weren't able to do it. And ultimately, the Cousins-Penix decision was a disaster. And both of them getting hurt, I guess, justifies the idea, but the execution was awful. And Penix able to kind of fill in where Kirk Cousins wasn't great, but you have to do your due diligence in signing Kirk Cousins. You can't sign him in that contract and then be like, oh, maybe the medicals here aren't what we want them to be. So let's draft Penix here. Because there's a couple of offensive linemen who went after Penix. Bo Nix went after. So even if you wanted to do the quarterback thing, maybe pick a better one. And one that doesn't have injury problems there. You can poke holes in the Cousins one, certainly. And even the Penix one, it sucks because he was playing pretty well. It's just injuries kind of got in the way of a lot of things. But that wasn't the most unpredictable thing to happen. So you can really poke holes in either of them, but really doubling down on it and then tripling down and trading away this year's pick, I think just absolutely final nail in the coffin for both guys. I can understand Bijan and Drake London kind of banging the drum for their guy, but no, it's done. That's over. You have to elevate now for the Atlanta Falcons. The Cleveland Browns fire Kevin Stefanski. He'll get a job right away. Happy New Year, Toxic. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for popping in today. Stefanski will get a job right away. I don't think this was all his fault. I will say, they at least have a little bit of talent there, right? I don't think Stefanski handled the quarterback situation well. I don't think the Cleveland Browns handled the quarterback situation well, with Gabriel and then Shedeur and all of that. Obviously, the Flacco decision, that's gone, right? But you at least have a bit of talent there. Harold Fannin Jr. is a dude. Seems like Judkins is a guy. Samson even feels like one too. They don't got a ton of receivers there, but you got some pretty good talent on the defensive side as well. So, I don't think that if we're handing out the blame pie for the Cleveland Browns situation, that Stefanski gets a lot of it, but he's not going home hungry. He's getting some of that pie because they did have at least a little bit there to work with. Obviously, it's the Browns, so it's just, what are you going to do? But yeah, I would take Stefanski as the Raiders head coach tomorrow, and we'll talk about them here next. But I don't think that he should just be absolved of any of the issues that are going on with the Cleveland Browns' current state. I think that there at least does deserve to be some blame that is put on Kevin Stefanski at this particular time. So yeah, that's, I feel like it's justified, but also, are you going to get better than him? I don't know. So it's a tough spot that Cleveland is in. I am surprised we haven't already started hearing Deion Sanders rumors, right? That felt like an obvious one that was going to happen the second that guy got fired. So I guess credit Cleveland for not even floating anything out there. Honestly, that this feels like clearing a very low bar. Credit Deion Sanders and the Sanders group for not floating that out there as an idea already to kind of mess with things there. I'm surprised we haven't heard those rumors. I thought you would get them basically immediately. The Vegas Raiders have let go of Pete Carroll. It's tough to defend a coach who went 3-15 and got the first overall pick. I don't know what he was supposed to do. Like, if he came in and got the absolute most out of every single player on that roster, this team might be 4-13. Like, there's not a lot that went well. Sorry, that 3-14, not 3-15. But either way, like, where is this team going to be? Like, this is a bad roster. And like, they fired every coordinator during the season. And I get you're not bringing in Pete Carroll for the long haul at 73 years old. In a group chat last night, joking about it, as you know, the Raider fan, you get these jokes. And getting the text that, oh, hey, well, Art Shell's still alive. It's like, he's only 6 years older than Pete Carroll is. So it's not out of the realm of possibility with that. Although I did say the Raiders had the chance to do the funniest thing now and hire Lane Kiffin. Like, just throw a boatload of money at him. Just, yeah, come on in. And so he abandons 2 college programs in 1 year. That would be very funny for me, but not going to happen. But yeah, with Pete Carroll, like, I don't know what he was supposed to do. I don't think there is a coach on God's green earth that could have got more than 5 wins out of this football team. This is a start from scratch situation in Vegas now. I'm not even convinced they should draft a quarterback first overall. I would be, as a Raider fan, I am much more hoping that there is a team that is just falls in love with Mendoza and throws a whack load of picks the Raiders' way, because they will go from having a lot of needs to having a lot of needs and a young quarterback. And we've just seen that doesn't go great all the time. So I like that this is not a 1-year turnaround for the Raiders. They need players at this particular time. And I think they would be much better off trading that pick and building up the way that the Bears were able to do, or other teams around that were able to, rather than just sticking and picking at first overall. The Arizona Cardinals firing Jonathan Gannon. This one felt obvious. A pretty tough season out in Arizona, that there isn't much that you can hang your hat on. It's funny, like, oh man, Jacoby Brissett really came in and was really effective. They lost every game. That was like every game that he played, it was bad. So now the question is, what do you do at quarterback? It seems like they're done on Kyler Murray. I would imagine he's done on Arizona as well. So they're in a decent spot in the draft. Do they just roll with Jacoby Brissett for another year, try to plug some other holes, and then figure everything out later? Because this isn't like, it's not a great roster. It's not an awful one. Like, they're in a much better spot than the Raiders are, which is damning with faint praise. But I think it's a really interesting question to see what direction they go now with this football team. A couple here in the chat. Toxic. Max Crosby's getting traded, right? Oh, 100%. He is getting traded. Yeah, with him kind of making a mockery of everything with the injury status going into that Giants game, and just the spot that the Raiders are in right now. I think once you start to hear, oh, the Raiders are a little bit more open to trading Max Crosby's getting traded for sure, which would then give them like 2 NFL players on the entire roster. And then Tall John, did I see correctly that someone, not well knowledgeable of NFL, that someone made a almost 60-yard kick? That is crazy. Yeah, it was a 67-yard kick. Jacksonville's kicker hit that one. Wasn't even his longest of the year. He hit a 68-yarder previously as well. So yeah, there's the kicking game in the NFL has gotten insane. That one, Standard Bearer, the Vegas Raiders, formerly Oakland, Sebastian Janikowski, he was the OG of this. That's something that Raiders always had, was at least they had a kicker. Nothing else, but at least they had a kicker. What else happened? Oh, okay, so those are the coaches that were fired. Now to the ones that I'm a little bit surprised weren't. The Giants keep Joe Schoen around. I am stunned by this. When I did the whole thing around Dayball getting fired, like, you look at this, it's not a good roster. And the only good parts of this roster were when they made their layups. Now, there are teams that miss layups, in the draft all the time. Riddled with mistakes, high up in drafts. And so I guess credit to the Giants for not messing up royally there, I guess. But like, I I don't see what the justification is for letting this guy keep his job. And like Daboll, there's at least a track record before this where he's gotten some pretty good offenses out of some players. So yeah, like it's great that they drafted Jackson Dart, but like I would have much rather let Daboll keep working with Dart and try to find a better defensive coordinator and try to find a better roster builder. Like I feel like the issues in New York were much more about roster construction than they were about any coaching problems that there were. Like Daboll wasn't great, but I thought that they were kind of a package deal, and I am really, really surprised that Joe Schoen gets another opportunity at this roster. And then I was a little bit surprised that Cincinnati keeps Zach Taylor. Not overly, but you just after like that team absolutely quit in the last couple of games of the season. And then you talk about Joe Burrow, who just seemed pissed at everything in the last couple of weeks, to the point where we did a trade piece on him. I was wondering if that was just, if he was going to be a bit of a, oh my gosh, we need to change the mood around here right now. But again, Cincinnati, relatively cheap organization, so that they weren't going to make that kind of a move. But a lot of pressure on Zach Taylor now to go out and try to get the job done, because I think that he has kind of run out of bullets in the chamber, so to speak, for the Cincinnati Bengals. We get another one today where the Cowboys fired their defensive coordinator. Could see that one from a mile away. Just an awful defense. Maybe got a little bit better. Now, it is a little funny that you trade away one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. The defense isn't good, and you fire the defensive coordinator. That seems very much like we're all trying to figure out who's responsible for this. But like, it still wasn't good on the defensive side, but I don't know, again, how much coaching was going to alter any of that there with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think we're done with coaching changes. Honestly, I think, crazy as it may seem, but I think Sean McDermott is kind of coaching for his job this week out in Buffalo. So we might get a little bit more from the playoffs and some more of the some more coaches finding their way into this, but already getting into interview season and all of that. But what do you guys think? Is there a coach that shouldn't have been fired in this list? Is there one that should have, that didn't make this list? Let me know in the chat.